Right now, the first hostages are home in Israel after being released by Hamas. President Trump is in Israel this morning talking to the Israeli parliament, also to greet the hostages and what's next in the ceasefire plan. Plus, a deadly plane crash just north of Fort Worth. 2 people are dead in the crash, damaging part of an industrial area too, what we know so far about the investigation. And also, here's a live look at our CBS19 on-scene unit. Some breaking news we're following out of Tyler. Reports of a pedestrian crash. The latest you need to know before you head out the door this morning.
It is going to be a warm week ahead. Just how hot could we get and what could be coming this weekend? I've got more information coming up in your forecast. So stay right there because Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus starts right now.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
7:02 this morning, we're following 2 breaking news stories at this hour, one here in East Texas, the other overseas. First, this is a live look on your left from our CBS 19 on-scene unit in Tyler. Police say there is a pedestrian crash at Van Highway in Northwest Loop 323. Now, the northbound lanes of Van Highway are shut down, so police are asking to avoid the area as you head out this morning. And overseas, Israeli hostages are free after 2 years in captivity. On your right, you're taking a live look as President Trump is speaking to the Israeli parliament. Of course, we'll have much more coming up here in our show. Good morning, y'all. I'm Jesus Martinez. Dana has the day off today.
And I'm Jamie Hazard, filling in for meteorologist Joel Robinson. Thank you for joining us on air and on CBS 19 Plus.
Of course, not a bad weekend that we had today. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their weekend today. But we also got to brace ourselves for Mother Nature saying summer, right?
I know. I can see that the temperatures are going to start to go down after the next 3 days. We're going to be in the 90s.
A couple more days.
Yeah, a few more days, and then hopefully that'll be it. But we will keep an eye on that. Right now, outside, it is a clear morning. It's looking beautiful out there. There's really no clouds. And then we're going to be at 60 over in Henderson, 62 in Tyler, 61 in Longview, 61 in Gilmer, 55 over in Center, and 58 over in Hemphill. So it's a beautiful morning to step outside. And then for the next few hours, 7 a.m. 65 degrees, 9 a.m. 71, 11, 79, 1 p.m. 85. Then the heat of your day at 3 p.m. you're going to be at 87 degrees. So it's going to be a warm one come that mid-afternoon in your run cast. So I'm giving you a green light for 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. because you're going to be at 65 and 75. But then at 11 a.m. I am going to give you that yellow light because that could be warm to run at 85 degrees. And then your visibility, well, just watch out over in Carthage. You are at just over a little bit, 3 miles, but other than that, you are good to go. And then your headlines for the week today, it is going to be sunny and warm tonight, low of 63 degrees. And then you do have some weekend rain chances, so keep an eye out for that. But for the next 3 days, we are looking at 90s, 91 degrees, low of 63 tomorrow, Wednesday, a low of 62 and 91, and then Thursday you are looking at a low of 60 with partly cloudy skies, but it's going to be a warm one. I will have more information coming up in your 7-day.
All right, Jamie, thanks so much. 7:04 this morning. Let's get back to that breaking news out of Tyler. Tyler police say there's a pedestrian crash. This is a live look from our CBS 19 on-scene unit. You can see a heavy police presence there. This is going to be at the intersection of Van Highway, also known as Highway 110, and Loop 323. Right now, we know that the northbound lanes of Van Highway are shut down, so police are asking for you to find an alternate route as you head out the door this morning. We're not exactly sure what the extent of the injuries are or how long that road is going to be shut down, but of course, as soon as we learn more, we'll keep you posted. Some other breaking news: we're following a historic day in Israel as the 20 remaining living hostages taken by Hamas 2 years ago have been released. President Trump is in Israel where he met with the family of the hostages, and right now he's addressing Israel's parliament. Later, he'll head to Egypt for a peace summit. Meanwhile, thousands have returned to Gaza since that ceasefire began on Friday. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has more.
This is the first glimpse of freedom for the remaining Israeli hostages, released after enduring 2 long years in captivity.
We see Elkanah and video FaceTime.
In a place that has been dubbed Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, jubilant crowds came together to celebrate. President Donald Trump declared the war over before landing in Israel on day 4 of the ceasefire, there to meet with the families and to address the country's parliament.
Today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace.
The president will later chair a summit in Egypt with other world leaders to discuss next steps, including the creation of a multinational peacekeeping force in the region. After the Israeli hostage release Monday morning, hundreds of Palestinian prisoners were also released as part of the swap. Since the fighting stopped last Friday, thousands have returned to northern Gaza to find their homes in ruins. Amal Abu Rabia's entire neighborhood was flattened. She says, "I never imagined this level of destruction. There is nothing left." Dozens of trucks carrying humanitarian aid surged into Gaza Sunday, with hundreds more expected in the coming days. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And President Trump is the fourth U.S. president to speak before Israel's parliament. Former presidents Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush also gave addresses to the body. 7:07 now this morning. Investigators are still working to learn what led to a shooting and stabbing outside a Smith County nightclub that left 2 people seriously hurt over the weekend. Deputies were called out to the Bourbon West Club, that is, near Lindale early Sunday morning. And when they got there, they found one person who'd been shot and another who'd been stabbed several times. Both were rushed to the hospital in critical condition, but are expected to be okay. Meanwhile, over in North Texas, 2 people were killed after a small plane crashed in a Fort Worth parking lot. This happened yesterday afternoon. Witnesses told our sister station in Dallas that they heard a loud boom and then they saw this moments later, a big plume of smoke. They ran towards the scene and saw what appeared to have been a plane that crashed into several 18-wheeler style work trucks that were parked there.
Well, I think the message is, as there are a lot of people at home spending family time on a Sunday, there's going to be some families that their lives are changed forever. And we just want everybody to know that our hearts and prayers go out to them. I can't imagine what their day looks like, much different from when they woke up.
Well, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office says the FAA is leading the investigation and the NTSB is also investigating. It is day 13, almost 2 weeks into the government shutdown, and the Senate remains in recess for the federal holiday today, but they'll return to Washington tomorrow. But as Bradley Blackburn shares, there's still no sign they'll reach an agreement to reopen the government.
In Washington today, the capital city's landmarks are closed for the federal holiday. But with the shutdown, closed is now status quo.
This is hostage taking.
On Face the Nation Sunday, both sides stood firm.
There's no negotiations happening right now because Republicans are boycotting those negotiations.
But as a dispute over health care subsidies rages on, the impacts are rippling across the country. More than 4,000 federal workers were sent termination notices last week, and hundreds of thousands, like Seton Parsons, have been furloughed. He was volunteering at a food pantry over the weekend while facing a squeeze himself.
Definitely lots of budget bites and cooking for yourself at home.
In Los Angeles, this food bank is bracing for a surge in need, like they saw in the last government shutdown.
We just see a huge influx, probably about 30 to 35% more clients in need, people who would normally not come to us.
For now, the Pentagon is still paying service members, bridging the gap by using $8 billion in unused research funds to cover this week's paychecks. Air traffic controllers will get their first partial paycheck this week, and then nothing if the shutdown continues.
How long can you go without a paycheck? Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
The Senate is expected to vote again Tuesday on spending bills that have already failed 7 times. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, President Trump again threatened to end some government programs if that shutdown continues. The president has also said that layoffs will target federal employees for programs favored by Democrats. 7:10 now this morning. Time now for your morning headlines. The trade tit for tat between the U.S. and China heated up over the weekend after President Trump threatened to slap a 100% tariff on goods from China starting November 1st or even sooner than that, citing China's new export controls. China responded by adding new port fees on U.S. ships. Beijing officials warned the country is not afraid of a tariff war. On Sunday, President Trump tried to calm tensions down on social media by writing, quote, "Don't worry about China," and playing up his relationship with the Chinese president. The two leaders are set to meet later this month as well. Hundreds of staff fired from the CDC as the weekend began have been reinstated. That's according to the American Federation of Government Employees. On Friday night, 1,300 CDC workers received layoff notices, but 700 were reinstated the following day. According to an official with the Department of Health and Human Services, the mistakenly fired employees were sent incorrect notifications because of a coding error. And a big SpaceX launch is set this evening in South Texas. This is the 11th and potentially final test for Starship mega rocket. Liftoff is set for 6:15 tonight. Starship is the biggest and most powerful rocket ever built. The goal is to make this spacecraft the center of the spaceflight missions and travel to Mars and maybe even the moon. Well, every day is a good day to celebrate our service members, but today is extra special, especially for U.S. Navy members, because today is the U.S. Navy's birthday. Back on this day in 1775, the Continental Congress gave the green light to form America's first naval force, marking 250 years of service and strength. Back then, it was just 2 ships and about 80 sailors. Today, that Navy has grown to more than 340,000 active duty personnel and about 70,000 reservists. All right, taking a look at news across Texas this morning. Some colorful street art around Austin could soon get painted over, as well as other cities across Texas. Governor Greg Abbott wants TxDOT to make sure cities and counties are in compliance with federal roadway safety guidelines. This week, under Governor Abbott's direction, TxDOT told cities to remove decorative crosswalks, murals, or messages that don't serve a traffic or safety purpose, giving them 30 days to comply. Abbott warned they could lose state or federal funding if they don't, but some Austin leaders argue it's less about safety and more about controlling local messages.
I think this is just probably more of a signification of who Austin is choosing to be and who we're becoming if we're not careful to continue to fight for the communities that we need to be fighting for.
Well, an Austin Transportation Department says that it's aware of Abbott's new directive and will comply. In its first of its kind meeting, the Texas GOP Executive Committee met at the Texas Capitol on Saturday to vote on censors for 10 Republican state lawmakers and potentially ban them from running in the Republican primary. The Texas GOP censored those 5 lawmakers, including former House Speaker Dade Phelan, Representatives Stan Lambert, Jared Patterson, and Julia Orr, and Gary Van Dever from New Boston for going against party principles. The party voted to let campaigns discourage the censored lawmakers from running, but they won't be barred from the next Republican primary, drawing criticism from those saying the interactions don't warrant restriction ballot access. Former Speaker Phelan and Representatives Lambert say they won't seek re-election after the GOP censors. All right, 7:13 this morning. As we stretch, we run, we lift weights. But what about a workout for your mind? It's just as important to keep your brain in shape. So here's our question of the day. Jamie, what do you do to train your brain?
Oh, I love word searches.
Do you?
I do.
Do you like Wordles?
Yes.
You do?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I haven't done them in so long,
Okay,
though.
we missed on Wordles. Every morning, Dana and I do Wordles in the morning, and she gets them much more than I do on a quicker pace. We're going to have to do the one today, see who gets it faster.
Okay.
But to train my brain, honestly, just sleep and relax.
Yes.
Constantly, we're just going, and forget about ourselves. And so, again, a reminder, take some time for yourself and relax a little bit.
It is hard when you get up that early to find that sleep.
And then you have limited time to do whatever you need to do in the afternoon, and by the time you want to do stuff, it's time to go to bed. So we managed through it.
I would love to be able to read more.
Me too.
I wish I had more time to do that.
And see, I've been not in trouble, but like I've been in, I don't know what the word is. People want me to read more, but reading and writing for a living, it's just draining to read for fun afterwards.
Yes.
So I'm like, at this point, let me watch a TV show.
Yes, I try whenever I watch TV, I try to make it a little educational. So I try and make it a documentary or something.
See, my educational is reading the closed captionings.
Okay,
I'm
nice.
reading. At that point, I'm still reading.
I like that.
Right. All right. Well, something else we need to train for is our bodies. Drink lots of water for this hot weather that's coming. It's hot if you want to call it that, but it's warm.
That is very true. It is very, very warm out there, and we are looking at a beautiful morning, though. Pretty typical. About 2 hours over to Dallas and then an hour and a half over to Shreveport. But let's take a look at that crash outside. We are keeping an eye on that, but that is Van Highway at Loop 323 northbound is shut down right now. So that could impact your morning commute, and we will continue to keep an eye on that for you. So make sure that you are watching out for that and taking an alternate route if possible. So over to Dallas, as I said, about 2 hours and then an hour and a half, which should not be affected by the crash, but keep an eye out for that. And then our US 69, we're going to be about 2.5 hours over to Denison, and then about an hour and a half over to Lovekin, which is, again, pretty typical, should not be affected by that crash. But Jacksonville to Nacogdoches, we're looking at 50 minutes. Tyler to Longview, 40. Tyler to Palestine, 55. And then Tyler over to Athens, 45 minutes, which is, again, pretty typical, but watch out for that crash. Your CBS 19 live radar, we are looking at no rain, so it should be a clear morning commute for you. That is just ground clutter. And then our future skycast, we have no rain and really no fog in most of East Texas, so we should be A-OK there. And then your commute forecast, AM commute, we're looking at 66 degrees, 3 green lights. And then your PM forecast, 89 degrees, also 3 green lights. But we will keep an eye out for that crash as the morning continues.
All right, Jamie, thanks so much. Some regions of the U.S. are coping with dangerous weather today. Meteorologists say a typhoon remnants have been affecting Alaska. Parts of the Southwest are flooded from the aftermath of tropical moisture that is. And the California Sierras are dealing with heavy snow from a Pacific system. Other impactful weather today is along the East Coast. Amy Kiley reports on what's happening there.
A powerful and dangerous nor'easter is slamming Atlantic states today. It's a cyclonic storm with northeast winds that push water toward the coast.
The tidal flooding is the main concern.
Authorities report numerous water rescues in the Carolinas yesterday. Today, forecasters say mid-Atlantic and New England coastlines are in danger. The National Weather Service says flood risks in some areas will remain for days.
I wanted to see how high the water was, and it's higher than I expected already.
Delaware says it's activating its National Guard. Atlantic City, New Jersey could see the highest water levels since Hurricane Sandy. The area is more secure than it was during that infamous storm, thanks to millions of dollars of improvements.
Nowadays, it's everybody's preparing for the worst and kind of hoping for the best, which is, I guess, really the best way to prepare for it.
The nor'easter is causing numerous travel issues. FlightAware reports more than 7,000 flight delays yesterday. It says airports in New York and Boston were hardest hit. The nor'easter also is bringing powerful winds. Meteorologists say they topped 50 miles per hour yesterday in parts of Delaware, North Carolina, New Jersey, Maryland, and Virginia.
There are some big gusts coming through, so just the chance for some isolated power outages as well.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
All right, 7:18 this morning, still ahead from 1-mile walks to 6-mile runs, how survivors are turning their fight with breast cancer into hope for others. Plus, high school football is heating up, and there are some teams who are still undefeated in district. We'll take a look at some of those matchups in this week's Sports Hits.
It's time for CBS 19 Sports.
Hello and welcome to Sports. I'm Jimmy Searfoss. We're glad you are with us because we got a lot of football to talk about here. Hey, like the Chiefs, man, they had a huge game last night against the Lions, and Mahomes, he was fantastic. This was early on, hitting Xavier Worthy for the quick little touchdown. Extra point was, however, missed. But they jumped out early in this one, and it wasn't just his arm getting it done, it was his legs as well. Here he is running the option on the free play. They take the lead here, and let's go to the third. Hollywood Brown in the motion, pitches it, and just takes it upfield for the touchdown. This one put the Chiefs up quite a bit, and you know what? They didn't really look back from there. They'd go on to win this much-needed game 30-17, then hugs and kisses afterwards, right? I mean, the Chiefs are feeling good, and Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Things got a little chippy after the game. In front of Taylor Swift, come on, guys, pull it together. Hey, the Cowboys were also in action, and the offense was looking fantastic, especially when it's humming like this. Air Pickens, come on. This guy's playing like his hair's on fire. 9 receptions, 168 yards, and a tutty. That's enough to make up for the whole no CD thing. Cowboys' first touchdown of the day, though, went to the running back on 4th down on the goal line. Hunter Lipke pulls up his first professional touchdown. Congratulations to that young man. Speaking of another young man, Bryce Young, he was a demon when playing from behind yesterday. Check him tossing it to Teteroa McMillan, the rookie, all alone in the end zone. In for the Panthers, they are back up. Dak was spreading the love, though. This one gets the tight end involved. Layer pass to Ferguson, 19 yards. Hey, he hits the icky shuffle. How about the throwback right there? All right, Panthers back down Bryce Young's pocket. All of a sudden it's not. He rolls out, finds Rico Dwaddle for the former Cowboy. He takes it in for the touchdown himself. Now Carolina takes the lead, and I told you he was around a lot last night. Haven't called his name in a minute. How about this? Number 3, George Pickens turns on the Jets. No Panther even comes close to touching him. Dallas is fired up. These guys retake the lead towards the end of the game. Well, the Panthers go back and get their guy too. Teteroa McMillan, he will be found in the end zone. Get some separation here. It's enough for the catch. Carolina retakes the lead. Cowboys kick a field goal to tie it up. Carolina gets the ball back in closing minutes, and they kick the field goal to walk it off. These guys win it. Cowboys lose. Well, in college football, Penn State head coach James Franklin just got the worst news ever. The school announced yesterday that they have let go the longtime head coach after losing at home to Northwestern. Penn State started the season as the number 2 ranked team in the nation, and back-to-back losses later, the Nittany Lions are unranked and looking for a new head coach. The other side of that, the school owes Franklin $49 million after buying out the rest of his contract to fire him. Associate coach Terry Smith will serve as interim coach for the rest of the season. Hey, y'all, Thursday night streams are back, and we've got our eye on a first-place team this week. Timpson Tigers, home of Terry Bussey, undefeated in district, take on Shelbyville in Shelbyville. We'll be hitting Deep East Texas for this 2A Division I matchup. Tune in, y'all. I'll be on the call for it later on this week. And did someone say undefeated in district? How about the Gilmer Buckeyes? They showed us they still got it last week in their huge win over Pittsburgh. The team in front of them, though, never had to prove nothing. Their record says enough. This Friday, the matchup between them and the Vandals could be district deciding. Vandals, Buckeyes, 2 East Texas teams, always got a lot of talent, always produce a lot of wins. This is one to get excited about, and I've been tuning in or talking about this next one for weeks. Outside of the first week, nobody has been able to hang with the Kilgore Bulldogs for all 4 quarters. Nobody. Not on offense, not on defense. But if one team is going to slow down these Bulldogs, it's going to be the one that's been beaten up on the same team Kilgore's been shrugging off. The 2 best teams in the District of Doom in the same place? Yeah, we ain't missing this one. Eagle Stadium, sign me up. Kilgore, Lindale will be live from it, and I'll start counting down the days from this one. This is the best game in the state. Excited is an understatement. That's all I got for you. We'll see you later.
All right, Jimmy, thanks so much. We're about to step away for a quick moment while we do our over-the-air broadcast with a quick news update. We'll be right back here on CBS 19 Plus. Good morning, all. I'm Jesus Martinez. Thank you so much for joining us for this news update. This morning, investigators are still working to learn what led up to a shooting and stabbing outside a Smith County nightclub that left 2 people seriously hurt over the weekend. Deputies were called out to the Bourbon West Club near Lindale early Sunday morning. When they got there, they found one person who had been shot and another person who had been stabbed multiple times. Both were taken to the hospital in critical condition, but are expected to be okay. Bright pink filled Rose Redmond Park yesterday during Run Different's second annual Pink October Run. Everyone had multiple ways to raise their heart and raise awareness for a great cause. Several breast cancer survivors took part in the fundraiser, including Kara Johnston, who was diagnosed on Christmas Eve 2 years ago. While still receiving occasional treatment, her cancer is in remission now, and now she's helping others discover their strength to beat cancer and to continue living full, flourishing lives.
My life just literally stopped, and I just sat down and started crying, and I said, what do I have to do? I have a daughter, and I will do whatever I have to do to fight this. And it's amazing. It's amazing to see how strong you can be and how hard you can fight, and to actually still smile after it's all done and help others. And that's, I think, why we're here, to support each other and be there.
Well, Run Different's next scheduled event in Tyler is the Holiday Showdown. That's happening on November 30th, also being held at Rose Redmond Park. Get ready for the sweetest time of the year. Quite literally, the East Texas Jamboree Festival kicks off in Gilmer this Wednesday. The festival was created to celebrate the yam, or also known as the sweet potato, which was once a cash crop in the soils of Upshur County. There's going to be a livestock show, bands, and lots of carnival rides as well. And don't forget the crowning of the Jamboree Queen herself. CBS 19 Day at the Jamboree will also be on Wednesday, so make sure to come on out and say hello. All right, JB, how's that weather looking for this Monday and this week, honestly?
It is looking quite warm. I wish I could say that we are getting some fall weather, but we're not. So this high pressure system right here, this is what is keeping our skies sunny and also that rain out, but that will start to change come this weekend. So let's take a look at our headlines for the week. So today we're going to be sunny and warm, and then tonight we're going to have a low of 63, and then looking ahead we do have some weekend rain, which will be a little change in our forecast. But for now, let's take a look at those high temps. So we are at 91 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then Friday 87, Saturday 88. So it's going to be a warm few days to start our week, but you do have some rainfall chances coming towards the end of the week. So we have those for Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and then let's take a look at the next 7 days for us. So 91 degrees Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 87, Saturday, 88 degrees, 40% chance of rain Sunday, 30% chance of rain, and we're going to be in those 80s at that time, but we will have more information coming up.
It's 7:35 this morning. Welcome back to Morning Y'all here on CBS 19 Plus. This is what's coming up in our second half hour. A serious crash shuts down parts of Highway 110 in Tyler. Police are on scene directing traffic. What happened and what drivers need to know coming up. Plus, tensions flare in Portland. Hundreds march against ICE and face off with federal agents. What sparked the clash? Next.
Weather this week is looking warm as usual. We are not going to see those fall temps just yet, but we will have more of that information coming up in your forecast.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Yo on CBS 19 Plus.
Good morning, all. I'm Jesus Martinez. Dana has the day off today. Thank you so much for joining us here on CBS 19 Plus. We are following some breaking news out of Tyler this morning. This is going to be a live look from our CBS 19 on-scene unit. Police tell us there is a pedestrian crash that happened on Van Highway in northwest, that is Loop 323. Van Highway is also known as Highway 110 if you're familiar with that area. Because of that, the northbound lanes of Van Highway are shut down. So police are asking you to avoid the area as crews investigate what's happening. Obviously, you see a heavy police presence out there as those lanes are shut down heading out of Tyler. Now, we don't know what the extent of the injuries are or when that road will reopen. Once we know that, of course, we'll keep you posted. 7:37 now in Oregon. Hundreds marched through downtown Portland on Sunday, rallying against federal immigration crackdown. The group reached an ICE facility condemning what the city calls, or they call the city's growing militarization. Later, tensions escalated. Federal agents fired pepper balls into the crowd and appeared to detain at least one person. Protesters say they'll continue to speak out against ICE operations in Portland, calling for accountability and the release of those arrested. Meanwhile, a deadly explosion leveled a Tennessee explosives plant on Friday, killing 19 and injuring several others. Aerial footage shows a building at Accurate Energetic Systems, an explosives plant 60 miles southwest of Nashville, completely leveled. And all that remained was smoking debris and charred cars nearby. That explosion was so powerful, it shook homes miles away. Security cameras in the area captured the moment of that blast. Accurate Energetic Systems handles military-grade explosives and ammunitions, including TNT. Officials say the investigation could take several weeks.
There's nothing to describe. It's gone. It's again, it's the most devastating scene that I've seen in my career. We're going to be slow, methodical, and diligent, and do everything that we can to make sure this is what it is.
Well, friends and family of those missing are continuing to wait for news about their loved ones. 7:38 now. New concerns about the cost of your caffeine fix. Coffee prices are surging as new tariffs take hold on consumers, and they turn more cautious as well. Kelly O'Grady sat down with the founder of a growing roastery as chains across the country confront the true price of your daily brew.
Coffee is a ritual. Coffee is something that people cherish every single day.
Gregory Zamfotis is the founder and CEO of Gregory's Coffee, a New York roastery with over 50 cafes nationwide. We first met in February when coffee bean prices had risen after years of bad weather in Brazil and Vietnam. 7 months later, Gregory's faces new challenges, from a more cautious consumer to tariffs.
Consumers are being a bit more choosy as to where they want to invest their money. When you're spending $4, $5, $6, $7 on a beverage, you expect it to be hitting the mark.
So everything from the coffee to the lid to the sleeve to the cup, how are tariffs impacting this simple cup of coffee?
A year ago, it would have been more traumatic because our cups are being made abroad. We successfully moved our paper goods all domestically earlier this year, so thankfully we're not facing a tariff when it comes to our paper goods. Unfortunately, what's inside the cup now is being heavily tariffed.
In April, most countries got hit with a 10% tariff, and more recently, another hike. Brazil, where the majority of Gregory's coffee comes from, now sits at 50%. Director of Coffee, Jake Leonti, gave us a behind-the-scenes look at their roastery.
Our next container will have that 50% tariff on it, and that's going to impact the business tremendously.
Leonti has considered sourcing more from other countries, but there are limitations.
Is it all created equal, or is it going to be a different taste for a consumer?
Every coffee has its own terroir, so it's going to have a different flavor. You can't just plug in any coffee to trade out of Brazil or in Nicaragua.
The price you pay at the store for a pound of coffee has jumped more than $2.50 compared to last year. Tariffs are partly to blame. Zamfotis has yet to raise menu prices, but he says it's inevitable.
If prices go up a few pennies, 4 or 5 cents across the board, we're hoping that that doesn't necessarily turn off our everyday customers to say, like, all of a sudden this feels completely out of whack with what I was expecting to pay. We would only be doing these things if it's a real economic impact or squeeze that we're feeling. It's definitely not something we love to do or feel comfortable doing, but to protect the business and protect our team, it's just a necessity right now, unfortunately.
Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, New York.
All right, 7:41 now. Let's get to those trending stories this morning. Singer T-Pain is collaborating with Crocs to bring one of his most famous lyrics, "The boots with the fur." No reaction from Jamie. I try to sing. Come on.
I used to sing that as a kid.
Right? We all did. Well, Crocs' unforgettable leopard knee high boot is the shoemaker's tallest silhouette to date, with vegan leopard print fur and topped off with charms or gibbets and chains. It's all part of the company's month-long Croctober celebration. According to the Crocs website, the boots drop on October 23rd. I believe that's next week already. Crocs Day, that is, for just under $160. Would you buy these?
I personally would not.
Me neither. Not
I
my
don't
style.
love them, but
Not my style. I have yet to get Crocs. I hear they're comfortable.
well, yes, and they're kind of coming back in.
They are.
Yeah,
It was a thing like what? 5-10 years ago, give or take. It sort of faded off a little bit, and now they're coming back again.
I'm all for practical,
Right?
and they're really practical. So
no one can see the shoes we have on air, so we can wear Crocs if we want.
Exactly.
So
Maybe we could.
Right? It'll be so comfortable. All right, well, action-packed Atreus rode to the top of the weekend box office in North America with an estimated $33.5 million. Crime comedian Roof Man debuted at its number 2 spot, around $8 million, and One Battle After Another slid into third, bringing in more than $6 million. I think I've been so out of tune with what's actually in the box office that I've even heard of these movies before.
I know, isn't that? I used to love going to the movies.
I remember the first time I went was in a field trip in like 2nd grade. Planet 51, that's what it was the movie we watched. I don't know if you remember as a kid.
I have never seen it.
No,
so.
it was, the best way to describe it, the alien, the human, visits like an alien planet, and like all the aliens are like, an alien, but it's actually the human that's an alien to them. So we're aliens to aliens, if that makes sense.
It does.
So
And we are.
It was a pretty fun movie, but I think everyone's pushing now more towards streaming and just binge watching old comedies and old movies now that are making a comeback as well.
Yeah, and when you can watch it from the comfort of your home,
Right?
I mean,
your own popcorn,
Exactly.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
You can rewatch as many times as you want, rewind if you want.
yeah, I know. We'll see what happens.
Right? Nothing beats the nostalgia of a movie theater, though.
I
the smell of
know.
popcorn.
I do love it sometimes.
Right? I'll go every now and then.
Yes.
All right, well, researchers in Spain studied a dozen bearded vulture nests and found more than 200 human artifacts that date back to the 13th century. The oldest item discovered, actually, was a sandal crafted from woven twigs and grasses. Other items included a painted piece of medieval leather that resembles a mask, and this one, an arrow from a crossbow. The vultures collected the artifacts, of course, to build their nest. They use these materials for that. And since they like to nest in cliff caves, or areas that are stable in temperatures and humidity, the artifacts were very well preserved. The study authors say the findings are giving experts a unique look at how people lived centuries ago. So go ahead.
Okay, so this actually brings up something I was thinking about, and they said they found a sandal, which I think is so interesting because clothing these days, I feel like we're dating back to, the 60s, the 80s. So I'm curious to see kind of what we leave behind, and if people will look and be like, oh my goodness.
What did they wear? What was that for?
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
I'm curious.
The other question I had about this is how far these vultures travel. Because it could be maybe a couple, now again, I don't know how far they can travel or go, but what if they traveled a couple hundred miles away and picked that one singular item from there and brought it back? Is that going to skew where that artifact is from?
That's a really good question.
That's what I just now realized, so.
There are so many questions.
There's so many
about
questions,
this.
so many answers we want, but very limited resources.
So interesting. Wow.
Right?
These vultures.
All right. History was one of my favorite topics. Climate and weather in college was one of my favorite topics, too.
Really?
So let's get a check on that weather now, Jamie.
Well, did you learn how warm it was going to be this week?
Too warm for my taste.
Yes, it is clear skies out there, but we are looking to be in those low or upper 50s and low 60s. So 61 over in Gilmer, Longview, 59 over in Mineola, 62 degrees in Tyler. So it should be a beautiful morning for you. And then our next few hours are also looking very nice. So 7 a.m. 64 degrees, 9 a.m. 70, 11 79, and then 3 p.m. the heat of your day 87 degrees. So we're still not out of those warm temps just yet, not feeling like fall, but it could be coming next week. So let's take a look at your runcast. So 7 a.m. we're looking at 64 degrees, 9 a.m. 75, and then I'm going to give you a yellow for 11 a.m. because it's going to be warm at 85 degrees, so your run might be a little bit hot. Your current visibility is looking good. Other than in Carthage, we are at 1 mile of visibility, so make sure that you are keeping an eye out for that and staying safe on your morning commute. Your headlines. So today we are looking to be sunny and warm at 89 degrees. Tonight you are going to have a low of 63, which is what we have seen. And then looking ahead, you do have some weekend rain to look forward to come Saturday and Sunday, maybe even Monday. Your low temperatures, so we're still in those low 60s till about Friday, and then you're going to be in the mid 60s this weekend. So that'll be a little bit warmer, and then Monday back down to 62. So we're kind of a little bit all over the place still for that fall. And then here is a look at the next 3 days for you. We are at 91, 91, 91 and sunny skies with lows in those low 60s. And I will have a look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Jamie, thanks so much. 6:46 this morning, still ahead. Toxic content is slipping into social feeds faster than most parents can catch it. Later in the newscast, how a new AI app is working to protect kids in real time. 7:47, welcome back. Protecting children online is a full-time job for many parents, and it's only getting tougher, right? But a new app powered by, of course, AI is helping families stay one step ahead. CBS's Tina Kraus shares how.
With every tap, smartphones open a gateway of possibilities for kids.
Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube.
And a world of worry for parents. But an artificial intelligence-driven app is offering a new kind of digital safety net. Rather than banning or restricting access, Swaley retrains feeds in real time.
It kind of filters and identifies harmful content within social media, and it alerts both children and parents about it, and it helps them deal with it. It gives them tips and tricks of what they're being exposed to.
Swaley worked with more than 2,000 families from the U.S. and U.K. to create the app.
Everything that you told us actually helped us build the app.
77% of children told the company social media is damaging their health, and most feel powerless to stop it.
And 72% specifically of UK kids told us that in the last week they had seen something negative that had made them anxious, angry, sad, or kind of annoyed or uncertain about life.
Swaley uses 36 AI filters to expose harmful themes.
Everything from over-sexualization to unrealistic body standards, toxicity, misogyny, violence.
Teachers say it's a welcome tool.
It has the capability through its AI to understand the latest trends in a way that, frankly, even I as an educator who works with children every day, we can't stay on top of it.
What I've seen recently.
AI-powered protection, designed to detect what parents might miss. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
And creators of Swaley say it is built to keep up with the fast-changing memes, slang, and social media trends kids catch on to faster than traditional filters can. All right, let's get a check on that forecast with Jamie. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it's going to be a beautiful day at 89 degrees, a little bit warmer than I think a lot of people would like, but we're in those 60s right now. So 63 over in Jacksonville, 64 in Tyler, 62 in Mineola, 60 over in Nacogdoches. So we're in those 60s right now. And then at 8 a.m., you're going to be at 65 in Jacksonville, 65 in Tyler, 65 in Mineola, 64 in Henderson, Nacogdoches, and Lovekin. And then at 9 a.m., you're going to be in those 70s, so 71 over in Jacksonville, Tyler, 70 in Mineola, and 70 in Henderson, all the way to 10. You're going to start to climb up to those upper 70s, so 76 in Jacksonville and Tyler, 75 over in Mineola, and then 12 if you're going to step out for a little break. It's going to be 82 degrees in Jacksonville, 83 in Tyler, 82 over Nacogdoches, 83 over in Center, and then at 4 p.m. today, the heat of your day is going to be 86 in Jacksonville, 87 in Tyler, 87 in Mineola, 87 over in Nacogdoches, all the way to this evening. At 8 p.m., you're going to be in those 70s as well, so 79 over in Tyler, 77 in Jacksonville. And that is because of this high pressure system that's keeping it warm, sunny skies, and the rain out of our way. But that will start to change come this weekend. So Saturday, you have a 40% chance. Sunday, you have a 30% chance of rain, which will change our copy and paste, which we also need because we have some drought conditions. So we are abnormal amount in most of East Texas, even some moderate amount over near Lovekin. So keep an eye out for that. And our forecast fire danger, we are at a low to moderate level, but moderate once again in most of East Texas. So make sure that you are keeping an eye out for that. And we do have some current burn bans, as you can see over here in Shelby, Henderson, Cherokee, Houston, Trinity, and Angelina County. So make sure that you're staying weather aware and staying safe for that. But now our humidity, we are in a comfortable range till about Friday. We're going to jump up to a little bit more humid and then back down to a comfortable range. And our high temperatures for the week, we're going to be in those 90s until Friday and Saturday. We're going to hop down back to those 80s. And then our bus stop forecast, 7 a.m. 63, noon 83, and 5 p.m. 87 degrees. And I will have a look back at your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Jamie, thanks so much. 7:52. We're going to get back to our question of the day real quick. Of course, we stretch, we run, we lift. I'm sore from running yesterday, actually. But what about a workout for your mind? It's just as important. So question of the day is, how do you train your brain this morning?
Well, okay, so we talked about crossword puzzles, word search. Yes. I would like to download maybe, because I'm always on my phone, so maybe some more like games,
right?
Mind games.
What about learning a new language? You mentioned apps. Duolingo's a good one.
I would love to learn a new language.
Right.
I've obviously taken it for school, and then I never continued, and I've always been mad.
The challenge or the incentive in this case would be to take a trip to a foreign country and be like, all right, if I learn this language, I can take myself to that trip.
What's a language that you would love to learn?
Oh, French.
French, yes.
Hands
French
down.
Would be amazing, yes.
French or German, one of those two would be good.
Yeah. Yes.
We got some people on Facebook saying real quick, Brad saying crossword puzzles, Sally saying reading a book or sometimes reading it out loud or playing trivia games. Sue also saying word games or puzzles, and then Juana also saying word games. So your challenge this morning, it is a Monday though, but your challenge, work that brain with something today.
I agree, and there's so many things we can do during the day that we can do.
We got it, maybe even 5 minutes out of the day. We'll see.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to step away for a quick moment to do our over-the-air broadcast for the quick news updates. We'll be right back. More here on CBS 19 Plus. Good morning, all. I'm Jesus Martinez. Thank you so much for joining us for this news update. We're following some breaking news out of Tyler this morning. This is going to be a live look from our CBS19 on-scene unit. Police tell us a pedestrian crash happened at Van Highway, also known as Highway 110 and Northwest Loop 323. Because of that, the northbound lanes of Van Highway are shut down. You can see all those police agencies out there investigating. Right now, they're asking for you to avoid the area and find an alternate route. Now, we don't know the extent of the injuries or when that road will reopen. Once we do know, though, we'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, 2 people were killed after a small plane crashed in North Texas. This happened yesterday afternoon just north of Fort Worth. Witnesses told their sister station in Dallas they heard a loud boom, and moments later they saw this, a big plume of smoke. They ran towards the scene and saw what appeared to be a plane that crashed into several 18-wheeler style work trucks that were parked in the nearby parking lot.
Well, I think the message is, you know, as there are a lot of people at home spending family time on a Sunday, there's going to be some families that their lives are changed forever, and we just want everybody to know that our hearts and prayers go out to them. You know, I can't imagine what their day looks like, much different from when they woke up.
Well, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office says the FAA is leading the investigation. The NTSB is also investigating. Close at home now. For 3 decades now, Circle M Crawfish in Big Sandy has thrived and survived deep in the piney woods. Many restaurants tucked away off the beaten path struggle to stay open, but that hasn't been the case at this place. To celebrate 30 years in business, Circle M Crawfish brought in vendors, live music, and even pony rides to celebrate the major milestone. Circle M started with humble beginnings out of a trailer and has expanded both its facilities and menu as the years go by. While current owner Ed Williams says making sure the restaurant had an indoor restrooms was a necessary improvement, there are other elements the business says will never change.
What made it popular was the atmosphere. People have been coming here for 3 generations. So when I bought it, I kind of expanded on things. I didn't change the character of the place. Like, it used to not even have indoor bathrooms. And people come here for the character of the place, not just for dinner.
Well, Williams estimates that during crawfish season, the restaurant serves up to 2,000 or 3,000 people on the weekends alone. All right, if anyone's having a patio lunch or dinner out there, Jamie, might want some extra water this morning.
That's right. We're going to have a high of 89 degrees today, and that's because this high pressure, this upper level ridge is keeping things sunny, keeping it warm, and keeping rain out of the area, but that will change come this weekend. So your headlines for the week, we are going to be sunny and warm today, and then tonight you're going to have that low of 63, which we have been used to, and then looking ahead, you do have a little change to your forecast coming on Saturday, which is weekend rain. And then our high temperatures for the week. So we are at 91 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then we'll move to those upper 80s Friday and Saturday, but it is going to be a warm week ahead. Not feeling like fall just yet, but take a look at this fire forecast. We are in a low to moderate range, so make sure that you are keeping an eye out on that. And here's a look at the next 7 days. We're in those 80s come Friday, but for now we are in those 90s with sunny skies.
Eight o'clock on this Monday morning, we're going to get back to that breaking news out of Tyler. The police department says they're currently working a pedestrian traffic crash on Highway 110, also known as Van Highway, just on the intersection of Loop 323. At this time, all the northbound lanes or going westbound on Van Highway are shut down at Highway 110. Andy Erbal with the Tyler Police Department says this is not a hit and run and that this is still an active scene. Police are there directing traffic, so if you're going to be out there, make sure to find an alternate route. We don't know exactly what the extent of the injuries are or how long this road is going to be shut down, but of course, we do have a crew there right now trying to get more information, and once we learn more, we'll keep you posted. And 7 Israeli hostages are free after 2 years in captivity, a moment Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel called the start of healing. Crowds right now, this is a live look, celebrating in Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, while former President Trump arrived in Israel, meeting with families and addressing the parliament just moments ago. Now, as part of the swap, hundreds of Palestinian prisoners were also released, and aid is now flowing into Gaza, where many are returning to find their homes ruined. And this morning as well, investigators are working to learn what led up to a shooting and stabbing outside a Smith County nightclub that left 2 people seriously injured over the weekend. Deputies were called out to the Bourbon West Club near Lindell early Sunday morning. When they got there, they found one person who'd been shot and another who'd been stabbed multiple times. Both were taken to the hospital, but are expected to be okay. And it's day 13 of the government shutdown, and the Senate remains in recess for the federal holiday. Lawmakers return to Washington tomorrow, but there's still no deal in sight as the fight over healthcare subsidies drags on. The effects are being felt nationwide. Over 4,000 federal workers got termination notices. Hundreds of thousands are furloughed, and food banks are bracing for a surge in demand as well. All right, let's get checking that forecast with Jamie. Good morning.
Yes, one final look. It's going to be 89 today and sunny, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we're going to be in those 90s with lows in the 60s. Friday we're looking to be at 87 degrees, so you can get a little bit of relief from the first 3 days of your week. Saturday we're going to have 88 degrees with some rain chances, and then Sunday 30% chance of rain at 81 degrees, so hopefully we do get down that low. And then Monday you're going to start off your week again at 85 degrees with a 20% chance of rain. I put it in there, but that could change. And then as you can see, we're going to be sunny skies, and that is because of that high pressure that is keeping your skies sunny with a lack of rain. And also make sure that you are aware of the burn bans in the area. We have some in Shelby, Henderson, Cherokee, Houston, Trinity, and also Angelina counties, as well as some fire danger, which is moderate in most of the area. So make sure that you are being aware of that, and hopefully those rain chances that come Saturday will help that. But we will be back with more information.
All right, Jamie, thanks so much. It was a hog wild time on Highway 69 in Huntington as an officer tried to rescue a pot-bellied pig from the dangers of traffic. Video shows Officer Cody Whitworth chasing down the pig with its curly little tail. The police department shared this video on Facebook over the weekend, capturing the very brief but short distant chase.
Wow.
You mentioned you wanted a pig as a pet.
I do.
How would you take care of it?
Well, I don't know, because I've heard of house pigs,
right,
and I got really excited, but then I heard that they can be kind of like smelly.
Yeah, that would be the downside. Like, in a perfect world, having a pig as a pet would be fun.
Yes. Have you ever seen the photos where they wear the little red rain boots?
No.
Yeah, so I think I need a weather pig.
Right?
Maybe name it Sunny.
We need a weather mascot and make it a pig.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. All right, well, thanks so much for continuing your day with us here on Morning All on CBS 19 Plus. It is a busy Monday, so stay with us here for the latest updates. Catch the noon show coming up on CBS 19 Plus as well. And here's what's coming up on CBS 19 Plus.